is my review of the Syd Barrett album Opel. It's a compilation from 1988. So before I talk about this album, I think next week I'm going to review, I think it's called the Radio 1 Sessions. It's another Syd album. It's one that I actually don't have, and I was going to get it for this because I don't like reviewing stuff that I don't have, but I have listened to it before, and it's just the cheapest copy of it I could find wouldn't have arrived on time if I had ordered it. So I'm just going to go ahead and review it without having it. But I'm also going to do the Syd ranking, ranking the albums during that episode because there's only really 2 to rank. And then after that, the next week, I'm going to go and take a completely left turn and do a completely different kind of band. For my next set of reviews, I'm going to do Flogging Molly. They're kind of a Irish-American punk rock type of thing. So that's going to take up about 10 or so weeks, I think, and then after that I don't know what I'm going to do next. So anyway, Opel, yeah, this album, I got it sometime when I was in college. I think I ordered it off Amazon. It's not one that I've listened to a whole lot. It's just a compilation of unreleased tracks that he recorded while he was doing his solo album, plus a bunch of alternate takes. It's mainly, I think, worthwhile getting for the new tracks. The alternate takes, I don't think any of them are better than the versions that got on the album. They're kind of interesting to hear anyway, though. It's definitely not like the first Syd album you want to pick up, because a lot of the stuff on it is kind of, I feel like you kind of have to be a fan of him already to appreciate some of it. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. I'm mainly just going to list the tracks that are ones that are on the other albums and mainly talk about the ones that are new on here. You have Opel, the title track, I think is a great way to open the album. Cool song from him. It's got really cool lyrics. But it's kind of, everything on this album seems kind of almost like a little unfinished in a way, which I think this song kind of seems like that a little bit, but it's definitely pretty cool song, probably my favorite of the new songs. I don't know, there's one more that might kind of contend for that. Next is Clowns and Jugglers, which is basically just a different name for Octopus, or an early name for the song Octopus, and this version is I don't like it as much as the one on Madcaps, but it's fine. Then is a version of Rats, which I like the version on Barrett better, but this one's cool too. Then there's a version of Golden Hair, and the next new song is one called Dolly Rocker, which this one, it's really weird. You get to hear him introduce the song before he starts playing it, and he talks about, I guess it's like an old type of dress is what it's named after or something, but it really kind of seems like a song that's almost half finished, or he's making it up as he goes along, which is just, it's kind of interesting to hear. Not horrible, but not one of his better works, I don't think. Next is Word Song, which actually kind of, well, I could see nobody liking this song, but I like it. It kind of fascinates me in a way, because it's he seems to be just saying, singing random words, but there's also kind of a rhythm to him, and it seems like he knows what he was doing in a way, and there's definitely some parts where it kind of has this weird flow to it. It's just, I don't know, it's interesting. It seems like I think he wasn't just doing something random there. I think he really knew what he was doing with it in a way. Next is another version of Wined and Dined, and then Swan Lee, which is another new song for here, and it's one that I like quite a bit, just an interesting song, and it's got some cool instrumental parts in it, just kind of the way it flows. That is the one that kind of contends for my other favorite on the album. Then you have Birdie Hop, which is, it's not one that is super memorable to me. Then Let's Split, which is another song that kind of seems like he's making it up as he goes along. Then there's Lanky, Part 1, which there's no Part 2, but it's kind of this weird instrumental, not the most memorable thing. Then Wouldn't You Miss Me, which is just an alternate take of Dark Globe. Milky Way is the next song. It's pretty cool. One of the ones I like more of the newer songs. It's got kind of a cool vocal melody and parts. Then you have another take of Golden Hair, which this one I think is instrumental and pretty cool. Then there's some bonus tracks. You have an alternate take of Gigolo Ant, two alternate takes of It's Obvious placed right next to each other, which is kind of interesting because you do kind of get to hear, you know, they always say that Sid wouldn't play a song the same way twice, and he definitely plays the, like these two, or it's the same song, but he plays it like it's two different songs almost on this, so it is kind of cool to have the same song placed back to back to hear how he would play them differently. And then there's another version of Clowns and Jugglers, Late Night, which I honestly can't remember at all, and then another version of Effervescing Elephant. So Opel, it's definitely not the strongest Syd Barrett solo album. I mean, it's just a compilation, but I think that if you have Madcap, or if you've listened to Madcap Laughs and you've listened to Barrett and you enjoy them, then you'll probably like some of the songs on here that were unreleased, and probably even some of the alternate takes. But if you couldn't stand those two albums, there's probably no way you'll get into this, because it's definitely even less polished in some ways than those two albums. So definitely not a horrible album, not one that I go back to a whole lot. If I do, I kind of just usually listen to the songs that are only on here, but yeah, worth checking out if you like Madcap and Barrett.